What's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking us on out. Much appreciated. You're beautiful. I love you. And your support means the world. Check out the Tobin and Leroy show on YouTube. I will put the link in the description. You guys can go check it on out. Subscribe over there on our WQAM page. That would mean a lot to me. Also, subscribe to the Porpoise Pod on the Odyssey Sports YouTube page. We put the whole episode up there. We will put clips on the WQAM page. But if you could subscribe to both, that would mean a lot to me. And if you could do them both auditorily, that would mean a lot to me too. I don't ask much, but putting that subscribe button on there is always nice. And look, you might be on their phone. Oh, look, maybe I'll just listen to Tobes instead of look at his dumb face. So, interesting thing that has come out. We talked a little bit about this in the last video, and I talked a little bit about it today on the radio show. And that was Javon Holland coming out and basically calling some of the fans wishy-washy. I don't want to, take him out of context. So here was the Dolphins safety if you guys hadn't heard what he had said.
Let me talk about that. How are y'all going to say Tua sold when he's been playing his ass off the last 8 games? One bad game, and we don't even know. We got to look at the film, bro. Like, I don't even know if it was a bad game. I know that my job is to give the ball back to the offense. But I'm behind them boys regardless. Y'all fans be so quick to switch up. Like, come on, man. That's so lame. Y'all be so quick to switch up on our team. Like, how you want to... Like, that is so crazy to me. Like, yeah, you loyal fans. Like, cool. But then y'all just switch up dumb quick. And y'all hate on us. Like, bruh, I thought y'all was supposed to be ride or die or something. Nah. Y'all be switching up on us. Be lame. Super lame, bro. Anyway. Just know that man Tua, he fighting as hard as everybody else in the field. And it just is what it is.
So calling some of the Dolphins out here and saying, you're not sticking with Tua. Like, what's the deal with that? He is now not alone in that case. Keon Crossan has also come out, and he has voiced support for his quarterback and also to some of the fans who he feels have been not on board the whole way after these last 2 weeks. And Keon Crossan says, it don't matter how long your loyalty has been to a team. If that's your team, ride. I'll take to it any day. Let that sizzle in your spirit. And a lot of exclamation point emojis. So an interesting thing from some of your Dolphins DBs out there, basically telling the Dolphin fan base to suck it up. You go with your guy, you go with Tua, and, you stick with him. I will say, I don't feel there is a fan base right now that is down bad. I don't think that this is just my simple anecdotal pulse of the last couple of weeks. I think a lot of Dolphin fans are shocked because they had something that looked like the most unstoppable thing in the sport in the offense, how explosive it was, how many points they were putting up. You take on a couple of good teams, and especially some of the play of the quarterback, and they're just a little confused that this is going on. Is that an up in competition? Is that going on the road? They have been a much better home team than a road team. This is the toughest road trip of the year by far. And so, people who are acting, flippy floppy or don't feel like they're all in on Tua, certainly there's going to be some Dolphin fans out there, a few of them, because there weren't a lot of people who were all the way convinced on Tua, and there's some that were. Obviously, this is the kind of the intrigue and the story behind him, in that he is such a polarizing player, even though he seems like the least polarizing person, because he just seems like just a gem of a dude who takes responsibility when things get messed up, has taken all of the negative stuff they've tried to throw on him, and has come out the other side smelling like a rose. And then not only that, has put himself at points in this year. I don't know if he ever got to the betting favorite for MVP, but he was second or third. So he was a top 3 betting odds MVP contender candidate. And, I think that there's a hefty part of the fan base that was finally ready to let go and be like, all right, this is the guy, this is the dude we're believing in. And maybe those people who weren't all in last year or weren't all in after some of the potential moves the Dolphins are going to make, and then you have that game against Justin Herbert, maybe they're rats off a ship. I don't know. That's hard to say. And I do think that for Javon and Keon to come out here and say, hey, you better back this QB, dude. Because I do think that's been part of the charm and the fun of this season, has not only been that they've been good and that they've been entertaining, but everybody is who is not a Tua believer nationally, and everybody who doesn't think that this team's any good because he's the quarterback nationally, who is like, you have fun cashing in the Dolphins receipts. But here's the thing with cashing in receipts and feeling froggy. For everybody who's kind of feeling this for the first time in a long time with Dolphins land, this is the first time the Dolphins, in this social media age, everybody has a take, their instantaneous reactions all the time. This is the first time the Dolphins have ever really been relevant like that. They haven't been. They've had some nice teams here and there. They've had teams that have had decent records, but nobody really cares. This is a league that's run by offense. Their best players over the last 20 years have all been defensive players. And, you're not having many Twitter debates on, is Cam Wake elite? Like, it's just not a thing. And I think for the Dolphins, like, what was the biggest story nationally for them on Ryan Tannehill? Every national broadcast being, well, he started out as a wide receiver in college. No, now you have a team that not only that's good, but you have stars. You have a controversial star in Tyreek Hill who angered his former fan base for what he said about Patrick Mahomes. You have a quirky head coach who is kind of weird, not your traditional look. People will think he's a nerd if they watch him nationally. They won't believe in him. And then you have your quarterback in Tua, who is the guy who is blossoming after Joe Burrow, who's already been to a Super Bowl, and the guy who got taken after him in Justin Herbert, who's got all the record numbers but doesn't necessarily have the wins. And then you have Jalen Hurts, who this year is storming for Philadelphia. So it's a fascinating dynamic. But I think the thing that has made it fun this year down here in South Florida is that everybody has gotten to rally behind this and put middle fingers up at everybody who's down them, because this city not only loves their football, not only loves the Miami Dolphins, but my God, they love when people doubt them. They love when people scoff at them. We loved last year when people called the Heat not true contenders. They called them dangerous loomers. We loved the Big Three Heat when everybody was saying this city didn't deserve that type of team. This city didn't deserve the goods on that. We loved when people would hate on the Miami Hurricanes and the way they celebrated and the way that they would rub it in everybody's face when they won. And this has been no different. They have loved how everybody has said that Tua is a bum, that Tyreek Hill is going to come here and do nothing, and that Mike McDaniel, who the hell is this guy, and that they have risen above it and had a really, really good season. So just because you have a couple of bad losses, like, don't lose feeling of that don't lose that harboring feeling of, man, you can't wait to stick at somebody. Yeah, it may end up embarrassment. It hurts when we're in the Big Three era and everybody's mocking you and your fan base and your city because you lose to JJ Barea. It hurts very much. It is not fun. When you have, the rest of the league laughing at them, calling them bubble boys because they get swept by the Bucks the next year after Jimmy Butler says Super Bowl. It's no fun. But part of it's feeling alive, putting yourself out there like that, not turtling up and starting to, temper expectations. No, this is the game you want. If I told you there was only one game that you could have on this road trip, all right, obviously for purposes you'd want divisional because much more important, sweep your divisional rival. But just the sweetness of those Bills fans who came down here, who took over Fort Lauderdale Beach, who then blamed the sun and gave you no credit. And everybody has been crowning this team that's done nothing, been nowhere. One of the most historical losers of all time in the highest level. Sure, Mike McDaniel beating his former team, that would have been cool. Beating Justin Herbert, shutting that debate up for good, that would have been extra sweet. But you took down a couple of pieces of broccoli, and now you can go to the freezer and you can go get yourself a nice pint of ice cream, whatever flavor you want. That's what it would be like beating the Bills. You would forget all about these last 2 weeks. You would be sitting real pretty going into the in playoff position with a chance to still take over the division. That is something that you have to hold on to. I understand feeling a little shook. I understand not feeling at your peak cockiness. But cocky Fins fan has to come back. You have to find yourself. You have to rally yourself. That's what Keon Crossan and Javon Holland want. All right? We can get into another debate another day about when are fans allowed to complain and players getting sensitive about it. Look, forget about that. You're in fighting about the wrong things, about whether of course you're allowed to feel upset about the loss. Nobody's telling you to just eat it and move on. But there comes a time this week where you have to rally behind it and start getting on the task at hand, which is, of course, making the Bills look and their fans look like idiots. That is the big thing. That is the big prize here when we're talking about what is coming up here on Saturday night with their 7 inches of snow. 7 inches. That's all you got, Buffalo? A little bit of snow? It's kind of a lot. I mean, I honestly don't. I've lost all concept of what snow is because for all the idiots up there, it's 80 degrees and sunny out here. Well, theoretically, it's here every day. Right now, it is actually typically raining and the weather is really bad. But for the most part, in December, it is beautiful while you are freezing your ass off near your flaming folding tables.